AI can go and take a running jump. I don't have any time for AI. And before you just drop flaming comments in regards to artificial intelligence, let me explain my viewpoint. It's not actually as harsh as you may think. So, something that a lot of, especially newcomers to YouTube, and I'm one of them, you're going to run into these real, like scarily real AI videos, all right? I've seen some recently that if someone didn't tell me, I probably wouldn't have realized it was AI. Now, the content itself wasn't something that I would have been attracted to, but I happened to see it in a feed and I clicked on it and I went, wow, this is just crazy impressive, but for all the wrong reasons, in my opinion. Okay, so these were video clips, almost like commercials, mini movies, actually short films that were 100% AI. So the very real looking people in them, fake. The voices, fake. The background music that was not, it wasn't cloned, it was artificially manufactured, fake. Well, it's just amazing, you know, like you can pick up all the background sounds. So one of the ones I was watching was in regards to like a car show, like an Unreal car show. So I think it's even what it was called, Unreal car show. And it was from the viewpoint of, so the camera angle was almost like someone interviewing people that had come to this car show and those that were from the car company showing off the cars. And like really, you could turn the sound up and there was everything from background chatter between other AI characters, AI that were opening car doors, getting in and out of a car, loudspeaker commentary in the background, you know, like music playing in the background, like just white noise from all of these other things. But you could zone in on it and go, wow, this just sounds so real and looks so real. There were a couple of lines of speech that were not quite right and didn't sit right, but the visuals from what I could see, you know, I wasn't seeing these extra thumbs anymore. I was all these awkward movements. It seemed pretty fluid. And anyway, seeing all of this, actually, for that split second, probably a bit longer than a split second, a couple of minutes, made me question whether I should even bother with creating a YouTube channel. That's why I say AI can take a running jump, because if it did it to me, how many other hundreds of thousands of potential content creators has that done to? You know, that's what I don't like about it. Because in seeing that, what it did to me, actually my gut initial feeling was, I've started too late. I've missed the boat here. Like, how can I compete with anything like that? And that was a very real concern for me. But then I started backtracking. And I thought, well, it costs a lot of money at the moment anyway. So the entry level is probably at least 100, and for me in Australian dollars, it'd be more like $200 odd. But I think the pricing was about 150 US for this particular AI that could generate that sort of footage, right? But then you're going to need hardware that's beefy enough to process it as well, right? And you're probably going to have the time to still construct enough or to work with it enough to get the end result. I don't have time, right? But then in addition to that, it was so polished and so realistic. I was thinking, yeah, but people are going to turn off to non-authentic material, right? And they will pick up on it, and it will possibly be more in speech and in small mannerisms, like physically, in people in particular, that make them go, nah, I don't know why I'm watching a computer-generated show. You know, Because ultimately, and this is where I get further upset about AI in general, is AI should not have a place in the creative space. All right? That's something that should be unique to humans. Right? That's what separates us from other living species, right? Is our ability to, one, communicate, both verbally and written or drawn, and the arts, whether it's music, acting, painting, writing, drawing, that all comes from the heart, comes from the soul. And even those of us that aren't great at any one of those, we appreciate those. There's something in the artistic realm that still registers strongly with humans, and we really love that. Hate's a bit of a strong word. I dislike strongly the fact that AI is starting to encroach on that space. It's a very real threat, in my opinion. It could be, and it already will be, because probably for every one potential new content creator, maybe even existing content creators that see something like that, they check out and they go, I can't compete with that, game over, I'm done. But even in not so long term from now, that pretty much an entire animated children's movie, could be done without needing anybody. Wouldn't need a production crew, wouldn't need artists, wouldn't need storyboarders, it wouldn't need actors or voice actors in an animated scene. Overheads will be so low that even if you've got to pump the money into hardware and AI to generate it, it's probably still significantly cheaper than the real thing. You imagine all of those jobs that are related to artistic talent, creative talent, removed. Then I'm not just talking about YouTube, I'm talking about movies, I'm talking about TV series, I'm talking about anything that you currently see or watch that you enjoy could be taken over by AI. And from what I've seen, it can also construct music, all right, without copying or ripping anything from, an archive of existing music, and it can actually create music. So that's another area of the artistic realm that's going to be lost potentially to AI. Writing's already something that is impacting authors severely because of AI. It's a concerning thing for me personally. I get it. Some people love it, and I've been somewhat of a fan of technology my whole life. But there's a difference with this, right? AI merged with the likes of robotics is going to remove so much need for us in so many places. And all I can hope for is that, at least in our own little pockets, whether it's as a family, hopefully we keep the arts alive. We keep dance, we keep song, we keep everything from the arts and crafts and creative space living. I'd like to think that there's enough people power out there that we hopefully suffer from, AI fatigue, and we opt to not want AI content because it's not made by us. It might be made for us, but it's not made by us. So anyway, there's my concerns. There's my sort of bigger picture concern. But if you're someone like me, I don't actually like artificial content. When I think about, and I should refine that statement, on YouTube. So when I look at the channels that I follow, right, and what I'm interested in, and I'm interested in stuff to do with, with tech. I've even, like, some channels can be to do with, the old school steel framework type, steel forming stuff, even stonemasonry. I've had an interest just watching those sorts of videos, like some of the old trades, and seeing how they were done and still are done by very few people, especially even fewer of the YouTube channel. But I really like watching that stuff and seeing real things happen by real hands and a real person, with a real skill set. And I'll always want to watch that over something digital and digital only. I grew up on like retro video games. In my adult life, I haven't had enough time to really pursue games, but I still like the old games. If I ever got time, I'd go and play an old arcade machine or an emulator. I like those sorts of things. And sometimes in some of the channels I follow are in regards to that. And so I'll watch that. But there's still a real person that you see in segments that's delivering that, or at least that's overlaying their voice. And you may only see them at the start or end of the video. That's still fine too, because it's a real person that's gone out of their way to create that walkthrough of something for you to view, or to show you some hints and tips, or to even just, show you their best moves or their top 10 games or something. I won't be switching on to AI for that. And I refine it to YouTube because even like growing up, I was big into cartoons and animated movies, so it doesn't have to be a real face all of the time for me to enjoy a movie as such. All right, but I will definitely be making a concerted effort personally to not fall into a trap of subscribing to AI only content. If there's no people behind what I'm watching, I don't want a bar of it. That's what I get upset about. But if I'm the type of person that views AI in that way, guess what? There's thousands upon thousands of people that view the same way. And so there's every chance that they'll still want to watch my YouTube channel, even though it's a head chat channel, because it's real life. I share real stories, real concerns in this space, and how it could impact YouTube moving forward. I sincerely hope that they clearly delineate human created content versus AI content. I hope there's a way for them to police that and to maintain that. I think it would be in their best interest to do that, because if you get enough people like me, if they suffer from AI fatigue and watching that content, then they'll step away from your platform. So you've got to maintain that balance, as tricky as that is. Watch this space. You may end up like, there could be a platform or one of the streaming platforms that denounces AI content and they only do real content. That could be their point of difference and a game changer. All of a sudden, people could flock to that. We've got enough at the moment, enough choice to make sure that we monitor that way if that's our choice. Like I said, this is my personal preference. I don't want to sound like I'm pushing this down anyone's throat. I would like to think that a lot of people that are here on YouTube appreciate human-made content and or are making human-made content themselves. So they probably are in a similar seat as me, but not everyone. And I get that, that's fine. I'm not completely turned off to what AI actually is and what it's capable of doing. And I understand that, for instance, its impact in the working world is something that we can't really control, other than us stepping away from any involvement with it. But it's only a matter of time, and it'll happen soon, where we are forced to step away from our roles anyway, because there'll be an AI-driven robot capable of doing exactly what we're doing. Scary as that may sound, that is the true future. I don't know how far that's going to impact society and how much of a negative impact it could have on society by having such an influx of people that are unemployed. And trust me, there will be a far higher number of people losing jobs as opposed to being redeployed into newly formed AI-friendly jobs. Because the math doesn't add up. There can't be a takeover, a replacement of robots and AI doing people's work, and somehow there's an influx of people type work that AI and robots can't do. Yeah, maybe there may be stages of that as it rolls out, but eventually it'll be, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a real job out there. Whether it's going to impact those probably more from an office environment first, in regards to, we already see it, but you can have a lot of AI involvement running scripts, AI agents that just take a lot of the workload away from everyday people. So they'll be the first ones impacted, but then as soon as they have cost-effective robotics that are operated by AI, then that's when it's going to start impacting physical roles as well. So anyway, way off topic. That's hopefully in the distant future, and let's worry about us for now. So we're going to continue to make great content regardless. We're going to continue to have a channel regardless, and we're going to become successful regardless. AI is not going to stop any of that. Real people are going to want real content, and that's what I'm going to pride myself on. That's what you're going to pride yourself on, and we're going to do it anyway. Okay? So AI can just get knotted. It can go and take a running jump. All right? We'll all be happier for it. But if you're ever doubting where you're at and what to do next, all right, just keep watching. Be sure to hit a like and subscribe, and witness my story, my journey. Be part of it, and then you'll soon come to see that if I can do it, so can you. All right, it's me for now, guys. Catch you again soon. Bye for now.